All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. I've got one more video relating to UFC 261 that I want to talk about, and it's only partially related to 261. Actually, it's directly related. It's about Dana White getting into it with the Las Vegas Review-Journal, which is a hilarious story, but yeah, we're going to get into it because he lit them up, lit them up. And, you know, if this is your first time to this channel, let me just make sure that we're clear on this. I am a person who admires Dana White literally like it's hard to even describe how much respect I have for what he's accomplished and how he carries it, man. Like, if you ask, you know the term fuck you money, the term fuck you money. Yeah, what that means is if you have a certain amount of money, you can say fuck you to everyone. And Dana White is the king of fuck you money. He's the only one that really lives it, though. Like, I don't know a lot of other people that genuinely are like, yeah, I have fuck you money. And they're not saying it to be like, hey, I've got a big bank account. What they're saying is, I can tell whoever I want to fuck off, And my favorite moment of Dana White's ever, everybody knows this, and it's not even that long ago, was when they asked him about what Bob Arum said about what's his name? Terrence Crawford. He was like, I could buy myself a fucking house in Beverly Hills with the money I've lost on that guy. And Dana was like, can you imagine if I said that about one of my fighters? And he blitzkrieged him. And the end of the tirade was, he was like, Bob Arum is a fucking piece of shit. And then he just got up and left. And I was like, God damn, man. I mean, it's just like, seriously, like, there are people who crave having wealth for all kinds of different reasons. People want to buy stuff. They want to look flashy. They want to fuck a lot of girls. They want power. They just want freedom, or they look at it as a scorecard that they're competing against other people. At the deepest level, why I want money, so I can say fuck you to everybody, just like Dana. So that's why I look at him and I'm like, I love this guy, man, because he's doing exactly what I would love to be able to do. And he just doesn't apologize for anything ever. Now, I will be the first to admit, okay, every once in a while he flies off the handle a little bit, where I'll look into it and I'll be like, man, he went pretty hard on that dude. He went pretty hard. But I understand him. Like, he's emotional, he's passionate about the company. He's like, there's the reason why the UFC has gotten to where it is because of Dana White's passion and dedication to the business. And so if you want to poke the bear on him, poke the business and then see what happens. There's a reason, and most people won't understand this. Okay, I understand this, but most people who haven't, if you've never started a business, you won't understand. And when people say that's my baby, or someone I know a guy who made this movie called Scare Me, Scare Me? I don't know, whatever. He wrote it, directed it, and starred in it. It's a great movie. And he referred to that movie as his baby. So a project or a company or whatever that you start and create. And it's not you're all, I want to go do loan consolidation. I'm talking something that matters to you, something that is tied to your passion. If you create a concept around that and you build it and you're like, that's my baby right there. You're talking about it's not misplaced. Your company or your project matters that much to you. It matters that much to you. I mean, there's no hyperbole there at all. And so you have to think about things through that lens when you're evaluating how a person like Dana, who has the ability to say fuck you to anybody at any time, reacts to things that he interprets as them poking his company. Because how would you react if you had no strings attached? You're a billionaire or whatever, maybe a billion, I don't know. Enough money you can tell everybody to fuck off. And somebody wrote an article in the paper, they were like, so Jesse on Fire's kid looked terrible on Saturday. He thinks he's a soccer player, but he sucks. He's shitty, and he's putting everyone in danger by even being out there. You read that and just be like, what the fuck? It's just like your brain would explode. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes he goes a little bit hard on people, but don't poke his baby, man. But anyway, I think this one's hilarious because obviously last night was the first show with full crowds, which was amazing. Amazing. And this guy at the local paper, right? So keep in mind, this is a local Las Vegas paper. We're not talking about mass mainstream media who, listen, like everybody has just gotten used to fear tactics. Oh, if we're liberals, then, it's our job to like be more scared of COVID than Republicans. And Republicans are like, yeah, and it's our job to be less scared. It's so dumb. But the media, if you're blue media, then, we're talking mass media, right? Then of course, we already know your position. This is irresponsible for him to open, to do this show. Oh, are they ready? This Ron DeSantis guy, he's crazy. No masks, just letting be. This is a super spreader event. You already know they're going to do that, right? And so there's no point in getting bent out of shape at mainstream media for shit like that because you already know they're going to do it, right? But let's say that a local paper to Nevada, specifically Las Vegas, like the Las Vegas Review-Journal, that's supposed to represent this tiny little town of Las Vegas where the UFC pumps billions of dollars of revenue into their local economy. Like, you don't get to do that. Like, and if you do, you should justified expect the wrath of the fucking CEO of that company. And so Dana wrote, like, I'm not sure if I should read the article first or what Dana wrote first, because I'm going to read what Dana wrote because when I read the article, I actually initially did not think it was quite as bad as Dana made it out to be. But then when I thought about it again, I was like, no, he's right, dude. For the exact reason that I just said. Like, if it was in the mainstream media, like, here's the thing. The way this thing was, let me read it, actually. So here's the story, okay? This is written by Adam Hill, who is now banned from UFC events. UFC 261 to have first full fan attendance since before COVID. That's the headline. Okay, here's the story. At least 15,000 people are willing to risk permanent damage or death to attend a live sporting event again. And you can just already tell, dude, Dana's ears blew apart when he read that, right? That's according to language in the disclaimer for those attending UFC 261 in Jacksonville, Florida, the first indoor sporting event to allow full attendance since the start of COVID-19 pandemic last year. It sold out in a matter of minutes. The disclaimer stipulates attendance at Saturday's pay-per-view event, which features 3 title fights, may lead to exposure to COVID-19 and that contraction of COVID-19 may result in severe and permanent damage to the health of the holder and or others, including but not limited to death. While it's standard legalese that people may have to get used to as life starts to return to normalcy, it's also a stark reminder that as much as everyone wants to speed the process and vaccinations continue to rise, the pandemic is not yet over. Still, demand was sky high when tickets went on sale last month and several hundred fans showed up to ViStar, and then from there, it's completely non-biased. It's just like, it's Ron. He says Ron DeSantis said the state's open. I think UFC is great for this courage. Literally, like, the rest of the article is totally just neutral reporting facts. And so Dana completely obliterated this guy for this. Okay, like, so let me read you what Dana said. Hey, Las Vegas, this is our piece of shit local newspaper. Through this entire pandemic, we didn't lay off a single employee. We worked with governmental agencies in Nevada and around the world to put on every event safely, and we chose to bring our fastest fight of the year. Our biggest fight of the year with Conor McGregor back to Las Vegas July 10th to help relaunch the city. Yet this is how Las Vegas Review-Journal shows its support for a true local business. Go fuck yourself, Las Vegas Review-Journal, and don't bother coming to the fight in July. So I read that first, right? And then I went and read the article expecting, listen, I'm conditioned to like hyper left-wing, just garbage, fear-mongering horseshit, right? So when he wrote that, I was expecting it to be like full throttle, just the dribble, MSNBC, fucking Rachel Maddow's Twitter feed from like June. And if you're a Democrat and you like think you like Rachel Maddow, I challenge you, go to her Twitter between June, July, August, September, November, and then just watch, see how you feel about her, and then just keep going. And you'll see that she posted about COVID, and we're talking like COVID apocalypse, death, destruction, mass bodies, literally 30 times a day, okay? 30 times a day, all through May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, boom, January, boom, she just turned it off. Turn it off. Like, cut it all the way off. Like, to the point where you look and you're like, these manipulative motherfuckers, Like, I'm not saying COVID's not real, but I'm saying there's no way to look at that little fact pattern and not go, oh, look at that. So, not because it's alternating COVID, mass graves, and like, again, obviously I know COVID's real. Like, dude, Khabib's dad died of it. Like, our next door neighbor's dad just died of it in India. I am not minimizing COVID at all. I'm just talking about how people cover it, okay? Because there's a huge difference between like covering the news and using a tragedy to promote your own ends. That shit's evil, man. Like, I'm sorry, like, you don't actually care. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, these articles, if you hear me saying it's like, dude, COVID's super serious, I'm like, I fucking know, dude. That's my point. It's evil for them to take a really serious thing like that where people are dying and then use it as a political tool. Like, exaggerate the deaths, like exaggerate how afraid everyone should be, and then go, geez, as soon as we hit, like Q3, the whole entire thing is Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. I'm not even getting into whether or not it's Trump's fault. Okay. Like, I don't care. I don't know enough about it to have any kind of opinion here. What I'm talking about is like just vapid, empty, like they're like, the point is they're not doing it. Like, they're not writing those articles because they care about COVID. They're not writing those articles because they actually think that saying, oh, Trump dropped the ball is going to have some positive outcome other than their guy will get elected. Okay. And again, I'm not even saying who I voted for or whatever. I'm just talking about the media leveraging tragedy to push their own ends. It's disgusting, dude. Like, if I thought that they were writing an article like, oh, Trump dropped the ball because they were like, look, this is going to kick everyone in the ass, and then we're going to get more masks out, or we're going to get more, first responders vaccinated or whatever. Like, if their outcome was anything other than let's get a bunch of fear clicks and then let's get people to not vote for Trump, then I wouldn't care. But that's exactly what it was. Let's get people to not vote for Trump and let's get a bunch of people fucking terrified. And fuck you, okay? Fuck you. Now, generally, that kind of thing would go on my other channel, but, so I need to clarify again, I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I am a person who objectively looks at both sides and calls out shit like that. Fuck you, okay? Fuck you. Take actual people dying and you go, oh, you know what we could use this for? You know what we could do? We could really scare the shit out of people, and then we could make, then we could help promote the guy we want to get in office. Dude, fuck you, okay? How about you think, oh, geez, what kind of coverage could we do that might actually help the situation? That never enters their mind. They create a false choice for people where it's like, you either acknowledge that you're just as afraid as they say you should be, or you're the enemy. Like, those are your only choices. Either you start spouting off this bullshit, like quoting the shit that we fucking force down your throat. Like, exactly. You need to quote this stupid fucking story that Rachel Maddow tweeted 11 times in one day. Just start saying it to other people. Otherwise, you're on the other side. And if you're on the other side, here's this other story that represents what those guys are. The anti-maskers. They don't even believe COVID's real. These people are crazy. So you're either scared shitless because of lies, or you're an anti-masker who doesn't get... Fuck you, okay? Fuck you. Anyway, so that's how I went into, reading that article, was expecting it to be like that. And so when I actually read the article, I was like, this wasn't that bad. Like, this guy, I think what he was trying to do was he was trying to, he probably read the disclaimer going into 261 that people had, and he was like, wow, these people are just straight up like, all right, I don't care about COVID, I'm down. You got to also understand this guy, the writer, is overweight, okay? Like, probably has diabetes too. He's probably super high risk. And so he sees, and it says, if you get COVID and die, we're not responsible. And in his mind, he's an actual high risk. Like, all people that look like me and probably you guys are like, well, I mean, yeah, those guys died, but they had pre-existing conditions, And I mean, believe me, I get to do the pre-existing conditions smug shit too, but that guy doesn't, okay? Like, he doesn't get to. It might actually kill him or like hurt him, and listen, everyone knows a bunch of people with pre-existing conditions that are totally fine. I know that, but I'm just saying, as far as a person's justification for being afraid for other reasons than Rachel Maddow's fucking bullshit, okay? Like, actual potentially legitimate fear of COVID, this guy had it, right? So he himself is afraid of COVID, and he thinks of going to a fucking auditorium unvaccinated, and he's scared. So he writes it like, all these people are just totally down to like risk death and go to this show. He didn't mean anything by it. Like, I read it very closely. I really did. And I completely understand why Dana flew off the handle. Like I said, it's his baby, dude. Like, it's the first live show. And again, so this guy's not meaning to do that. He really, I guarantee when he saw Dana's reaction, he probably was like, his heart probably just dropped into his stomach. And he's probably trying to reach out to Dana to apologize. He already wrote an article about the event last night and did not say one fucking thing about COVID. Nothing. Like, so I guarantee he didn't expect that reaction from Dana at all. And yeah. And look, I've heard that if you kind of go to Dana directly and kind of, own your mistake, like, he doesn't seem like an unreasonable guy to me. He seems like a guy who flies off the handle, like I do, and like people who are passionate do. But again, I don't think that there's a villain in this story between this poor fucking guy who made a very big mistake, though. I mean, like, he really did. Like, if you think about it and frame it, dude, Dana founded and is the CEO of a tremendously valuable company that is a local business in Las Vegas that was built there. Like, the paper owes them loyalty, dude. Like, they just do. And the paper, to write it that way, he just wasn't thinking. Like, he just didn't think it. He didn't think it through. He just didn't think it through. And Dana lit him the fuck up for it. And I guarantee right now he is having a like meltdown panic attack. He's like really trying to get a hold of Dana so he can apologize. Guaranteed. But yeah, the only villain in this story is Rachel Maddow's Twitter. Fuck her. And it's not even her. But, well, I mean, fuck her, but fuck her Twitter too. And for the record, fuck Fox News too, okay? Like, if anybody, I would imagine if a person who would respond, well, what about Fox News? They probably didn't even make it this far. But like, yeah, fuck Fox News also, okay? CNN, Fox News, MSNBC are all exactly the same. Dude, it's so, again, if you ever wanted a preview of Jesse on Everything, you're looking at it, okay? It's hilarious, dude. Like, because the issues have flip-flopped now, you take the border wall as an example. When Trump's there, build that wall, and the left is like, it's racist. Look at Trump just blowing it at the border. It's disgusting. And then he's out and Biden's in, and Biden's like, yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and finish that wall. And they're like, you have kids in cages, Trump, kids in cages. Biden's like, yeah, let's go ahead and expand those overflow facilities, which are the same facilities that were kids in cages. And it's just like, and if you looked at CNN's coverage of when it was Trump, and then you look at Fox's coverage when it's Biden, you literally, if you removed the icons and the logos, and then you only said Mr. President or the presidential administration, you literally would not know who is talking about who. It's identical coverage, fucking identical. They frame it exactly the same. Like, everything is exactly the same. The only difference is you have one, Fox News was like, yeah, go ahead and build that wall. Now they're like, look at this guy blowing it at the border. I thought, and CNN going, there's no crisis at the border. I mean, what are we talking about? There's no problem there. Where fucking 2 years ago, they're all, the migrant caravan. Look at, Trump's going to kill them all. It's a fucking joke, okay? Fuck all of them, but especially fuck Rachel Maddow's Twitter, man. If anybody can look at her Twitter from May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, and that doesn't make you mad, you are not smart enough to fucking watch my shit anymore. Like, you should literally, like, I mean, if you actually take the time to actually go look at it, it will blow your fucking mind. It'll blow your mind. And think about it through the lens that I laid it out. What's she trying to accomplish? Is she trying to help people with that? What are 12 apocalyptic articles a day going to do for anyone? Right? Even if the shit's that serious, how is that helping? Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, love you guys. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Peace.